So you were telling me about your father and his spiritual quest. And he came here in 46, you said?
45.
45, huh? Did he talk to you about Sri Aurobindo? Did he mention him after the darshans that you can remember?
No, she was not born
Actually, we were born. I was 57 born, and she was, and we were too small. And the problem with him was this: that my mother was an ailing mother.
Yes.
So most of the time was spent. All he would do is refer to books and all that. Only much later, when we were as students, my mother had passed away. That was the time when he used to talk about Sri Aurobindo and the mother and the ashram. Then, he would say that he would talk about those special days when mother would come down for those, Kali Puja.
The great pujas, yes.
Yes,
And be in the chair in the
chair,
meditation room.
and he recalled one of them when mother had come down quite late at night for Kali, and he says that I could just see, Ma coming down those steps in that blue sari.
Yes, very deep color.
And the meditation hall, and we were just, absolutely, we were like stunned sort, and mother coming down, and her expression was a trance-like expression, and they were all waiting for a very long period of time waiting for that long, and then he comes down, and then she comes down, and then they sit for meditation. And that was one of those precious
Very late.
moments.
There is no timing
There's
restriction.
no
It can be
timing.
after 12, after midnight, at any time.
But it
So
was
they would all
because,
patiently wait for
yeah,
that,
and
those
mother
hours.
had so much on her
Yes,
that she couldn't come.
Yes.
Yes.
So those were the very...
those things, and
So then tell a little bit about the life of your father after coming here.
after coming here, actually he was more, he got himself, as you
Yes,
said,
we didn't talk about Patamandir.
yes, he actually was then got himself, that was the time when Pathamandir, which is
One of the oldest Sri Aurobindo's centers in India.
in India. It is
Sri
in College.
Aurobindo, it's in College Street, still it is there.
Mhm.
Sri Aurobindo Pathamandir, it's called. And it was sanctioned by the mother with her blessings. And there were a few signatories, and he was one of them, the founder members of that center. It is supposed to be one of the oldest in the country. And that time, the relics was Sri Aurobindo's relics were there. And at Sri Aurobindo Pathamandir, Calcutta, College Street. Then he got very much involved,
Yes.
collectively involved. That was his life. He would go in after his office hours. He was just working there. Working till 1972, Sri Aurobindo's birth centenary. He, with many other, there was a very big, very famous devotee. He owned Aurora Films. Aurora
Satya.
Films. Satya Bose, his name
Satya
was.
Bose.
Satya Bose was there. Aurora Films. He made some very, very good films on Sri Ramakrishna and others. Sister Nivedita. And they were all shown in the ashram playground. That time, Aurora Films was very famous. Even Satyajit Ray made some films under his banner. It was such a famous, he was a famous man, Aurora Films in Calcutta. And he was one of the members, founder members with my father there in Pathamandir. And in 1972, they wanted, because that Pathamandir, that place was very small. Actually, it was part of the What was
Indian coffee house.
Indian coffee house, but it was old time.
Some Indian town hall. It was a
It
town
was like
hall.
a town hall. It was, but it was an Indian coffee house. On top of it was this Bata Mandir, and with Sri Aurobindo's relics and mother's shoes and all kept there. So then it was a small place. So they wanted to celebrate Sri Aurobindo's centenary, and that also has to be in Calcutta, his birthplace. So they fought very hard to get
Acquire his
his
birthplace.
birthplace.
8 Shakespeare Sarani.
Sarani. That was his
That was the time
birthplace.
when my father
Father.
I see.
had to, my
Endless,
father and the
sleepless
whole lot
nights.
of them,
Sleepless nights
they had
to
to.
acquire
With
that.
the government of West Bengal, they managed to acquire that house.
I see.
8 Shakespeare
Dear
Sarani.
Sarani.
That is at present
8
Sri Aurobindo
Shakespeare
Bhavan.
what?
That's your
Sarani.
Shakespeare Sarani. Sarani is road.
S-A-R-I.
In memory of Shakespeare.
S-A-R-A-N-I. Sarani.
Sarani.
8 Shakespeare Sarani. That is Sri Aurobindo Bhavan at present.
That is the Bhavan.
In 72 it was inaugurated, and now it's looked after by the government of West Bengal and our devotees. So he worked a lot for that. So he was, it was a sort who was Pondicherry, but then whatever mother's work outside was
my
very
father
important
did a
for
lot.
him. People should know Sri Aurobindo. That was
Yes.
so. He
And
worked
many other centers were formed in his presence. Yes, quite a few.
And
He
he
had
used to, with the Pata Mandir, with the other members, he used to go, there used to be a lot of donation that
Would
used to be
just simply
collected.
come. And my father was a foremost forerunner in collection of for the mother.
Mother's
It has to be
birthday
for
on the
21st.
21st.
That amount of money must reach the mother's feet. Must. So, oh my God.
All of them would.
Why are you so late? Why are you so late? Wait, my work is still not done. I have to do a lot of work.
And all those big commercial houses would just, so generous they would be.
I see.
So
Just,
generous.
oh, Satyabhama
Just
has
the
come.
name
No question.
of Sri Aurobindo Ashram. And
The
he
mother?
would say, who are you? I am the representative of the mother and Sri Aurobindo.
Wherever he went. Who are you? I'm the representative of the mother and Sri Aurobindo.
And he would ask in their name just like that.
And no, he would say that, I'm doing it for Pataman. They knew
Ah,
Pataman,
okay.
they knew Sri
People
Aurobindo
knew, yeah, they
Ashram, and
knew,
so
yes.
They won't
they knew
know.
everything
Bengal
because
won't know.
Ah.
and Bengal was so vibrant with Sri Aurobindo. So, and there used to be those, as you know, Indian silk house always had
That Rishabh Chand.
Rishabh Chand,
Oh, Rishabh
Indian
Chand.
silk house.
Indian silk
It would
house.
always give an advertisement in the newspapers
The
on
first
Mother's
15th
birthday.
August, 21st February,
24th
would be
April.
24th, right in front, the Statesman and
Oh,
all the major
Major
newspapers will.
So that's
Print the
how
mother's
everybody's
picture.
exposed. So there to for collections wasn't.
Our homage to.
Ah. Did your father come here then after 72?
Oh yes, He came right. He passed away in the year 1998, and
Oh.
he came here up. I
To
think till
90s.
97.
Last he came.
I see.
87.
We found it a little difficult
Difficult
because
to
it
walk
was,
because of his arthritis.
arthritis. It was
So,
a little difficult. So he
we-
managed to come.
We
He
used
did
to
manage.
pull him along, bring him.
With a maid. We used to manage.
So he was 81? roughly?
82.
82, huh?
82.
When he passed.
For 22nd April
Ah.
1998.
Now, do you remember any of the oldest sadhaks? Could you
Champak
tell-
Lal.
Champaklal. Let's
Champak Lalji
talk
was,
about him.
my father was very close to
When
him
my
too.
mother passed away, still he
And
bought that.
when my mother passed away, my father came here. So mother allowed my father to sit for a meditation in Sri Aurobindo's room. So say that.
Yeah.
How was it?
So he sat for meditation. I mean, he was sitting. Now, the timing I think was 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Then he was thinking, am I taking a lot of time? He couldn't, half an hour passed, nearly 1 hour passed, he couldn't get up. He just couldn't get up. And as he was making an effort to get up, Champak Lalji was telling my father, every time, his body was just fixed. He could not, he said, my body was so heavy, it didn't seem that it was me sitting there. And then finally, he could get up. After a long, long time, he got up and he walked away. He said that was every time I was about to get up, and Champak Lalji was doing that. And he said, I don't know, my body was so heavy, so very heavy. The mother was telling me to sit, and I just kept sitting.
And he used to be
Yes.
very friendly with us, Champak Lalji. He used to call me my big eyes.
I see.
He used to call me my big eyes. So whenever we used to come to the ashram, to this thing, Nolinida would say, okay, these people have come. So he used to be there at the top of the stairs,
Waiting for
waiting.
us.
And as soon as we would go, he would just smile at us, all of us. Then he would just hug me and tell me, oh, my big eyes, my big eyes. So that was it. And Nolinida took all our major decisions in life. All our major
I see.
decisions. After my sister graduated,
Then
should she come here? My children should be here. Or what? All major decisions, he said.
No, he said.
I don't know why he said no.
No,
but
he said-
no. Later.
Late. He
He
said
used to
late.
talk in
Very monotone.
monotones
Just single.
and
Yes,
Single
He
yes.
word.
says, no, not now.
Hmm.
Now is not the time for your children to be here. That was, I think, when she had finished her MA, after mother left her body. He says, no, not now.
And did you know Amrita at all? Did you remember
No,
him
not
at all?
much.
Or
Udar.
Udar.
Yeah.
Actually, Udar's that page is still signed. Did you bring it?
No, I don't. When mother passed, when Aurobindo passed away, there was that. I think I have it. There was a little note that was circulated, I think, and it was
Inside
signed
this
by
one.
Udar. If I'm not wrong, they all got it from him. This little.
Is that Udar's signature?
No, this is when mother passed away. This little note that was circulated. In the end, it is. I think there is a signature of Udar. If you can.
Yes, yes, yes. I see.
This note that was.
Father got, because he was doing a lot of work outside, so he had to be given all these
People
things.
started
People
questioning
started
him
questioning
as to how
him.
mother left.
Has this been published?
I
I don't know. You can kindly read it and see. And if
Whether
it
it's
is for
meant
the
for
beneficial
publication.
for all of us, then you may.
Well, if it has not been published, it must be. It is so.
should be sacred
It
or
is so
what do we get?
important.
That signed by him also, by Udar those days.
And this was the 17th November 1973 that was circulated.
This one.
That Nolinida's.
Oh yes, I
Small
remember
note.
this. Yes, yes, and that's in here also. I just saw it here, where the following message: Your physical body belonged to the old creation.
Yeah,
Yes. Well, if it has not been published, it really should be,
Should,
You can keep it.
because,
we can
You
keep
can
it.
keep
well, I'll make a copy of it and
Yeah.
return the original to you.
Okay.
You
all
can
right.
keep it.
Yeah, I'll do that. So, what do you do in the ashram now? What have you been doing for so many years?
Yes, we
Tell us about
settled
that.
here actually in, finally settled here,
Mhm.
2003 April.
April 2000.
We left our school jobs, both of us, much before time. I left it 7 years before my retirement age, and she left more than that, 16 years or so still service left to do. So we left before. We couldn't stay, we couldn't kind of adjust ourselves to the world outside. we found it very difficult. Life. Very difficult in the sense that we didn't like the way they talked, the life, the diet, the way they behaved and whatever you might say.
Actually, it's a very, as you grow, as you somehow graduate into a certain stage, then you feel that these things are all so immaterial. All these cars, these houses, these dresses and jewelry, because you have to be with them means, I'm not belittling anyone, that's
Understand.
their way of,
Yes, we understand.
that's their growth. And if you have seen a brighter side of life, when you've seen the
Other side.
seriousness of life, then of course it becomes a little.
You were living in Calcutta.
We actually not in Calcutta proper, in one of the districts of West Bengal, Howrah.
In Howrah.
Yeah.
I've been to Howrah. Yes.
Howrah station.
Yeah, Howrah Station.
So that's the school where we studied, and St. Agnes's Convent. That's the school where we studied as well as taught.
So, what is your work here?
The work here is actually, we are in the marbling group at present. For last 10 years, we are in the marbling group. And in the afternoon, we have started working. I am in the marbling group in the afternoon too. She's in Batik.
I'm in Batik in the afternoon.
Batik
I
department. So we are in the morning and in the afternoon. Whatever time we can give, other than our work at home, we have to do our own work in the house.
So, you met, of course, all of my dear family, Pushpa, Mani
Oh
Man.
yes,
But
yes.
nobody. Can you talk a little bit about them? Because they both. Pushpa says she won't do an interview, nor will Lilu. And Maniben was so wonderful.
Yes.
When they were making the first major restructuring of the marbling room, my wife, Mary Helen, who was accepted by their mother, Ba, who used to sit on the floor and cook, and Mary Helen would sit with the family. So it'd be very special if you can say something about Pushpa and Maniben.
Maniben was, her work is worship, her work is yoga. As long as she could come to the marbling department, that is, she would be there, right and left, center and forward, everything is marbling, her work, everything. And I still remember the first day when I walked in, I felt that I know nothing. I have to start learning everything, because that's how I felt when I saw her, because she is such a great worker.
And a great teacher.
Sincere worker.
I see.
A
and
teacher.
a great teacher.
How to do even little things. She was so very particular about even the smallest of things.
Anything lying
anything lying down, whether it's a bit of paper or anything on the way. She was so simple, extremely simple, open-hearted, and very, very good teacher. And when the first day I went in, I just entered and I said, this is what Chitradi has given me. She asked me to see you. You want to work here? I said, yes. Then she said, you want to work now? I said, yes. Immediately, I said, yes. Then come. Then come. Because you have to be ready. That's what she meant. Are you ready? Indirectly. That was Maniben. She scolded us, she taught us everything. Now that the work that we do in marbling is because of Maniben, because of her.
She has set the entire department with her own hands, and everything is just being followed. That's
Even up to this date.
I
Whatever
can-
we are doing is because of Maniben's instruction. She will never forget a thing. Never forget a thing.
Even now, when we go to meet her at home, she says, "See, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything." I said, "No, you're doing." She said, "Yes, I only clean these vessels and I make a bit of tea and I read and do this." I said,
You know, I make the first cup of tea for everybody in the morning. So sweet.
That's
She's
sweet.
extremely sweet.
And Pushpaben is just following whatever has been
Yes.
left.
Yeah,
behind.
she is helping us through. Otherwise, I always tell her, because you all are there,
Mhm.
we feel that we are still living in that period when the mother and Sri Aurobindo were there.
Yes.
Really,
It's very
they
important.
vibrate, they carry it with them.
Yes.
Even the attire. What I really miss nowadays,
Those starched,
those starched white.
saris, those simple
Yes.
people walking down the ashram footpath, and there we used to sit on the road, it used to be so neat and clean and very few people. So,
I'll tell you a story that Maniben told me. I don't know if you've heard it before. Marbling was doing very poorly.
mhm,
It was losing money.
mhm.
And Maniben said this to Mother, and she said, "Do you think we should close it?"
Yes,
And Mother said, "No, it has an occult purpose."
purpose.
You
Yes.
knew,
Yes,
you had heard that,
It
huh?
She
should
told us.
never stop.
It should never
It should
stop.
never
because
stop,
of
yes.
occult reasons. It should
Yes.
never stop.
Yes.
So we've had very bad times, at times, very bad times, but it has never stopped.
And the other day only, Pushpaben said, shall we manage? I said, don't worry, Pushpaben. We will manage.
It happens, somehow.
Somehow, we just pull up. The mother is there. That's what
Due to occult reasons, she said.
the occult reasons. It should carry on. It should not stop. So we are still managing.
Did you ever meet Dilip Kumar Roy?
No.
No.
But your father knew him?
Yes.
Father heard
He
him sing and all
sing
that. Heard him
and all
sing.
that. And he used to say that when he would sing, he would just go into a particular plane. It used to be very loud and sort of,
It was not like earthly.
it was not very like anybody singing. You could feel that it was coming from a plane, from a particular plane. So that was, and he would get lost in his song, he says. So that's what we heard.
And
yes.
voice would reach. No microphone needed. His voice.
So strong.
Oh, powerful voice. And that was. We knew a little. I think
Sahanadi.
Sahanadi. Sahana.
You knew her.
Sahana.
A little
that,
once
we had the
last week.
tailoring department
Yes,
downstairs.
yes,
It was
yes.
Sahanadi's department.
Yes.
She was actually closely related to the Tagore. She was from Shantiniketan.
Not related, but
Not related,
Shantiniketan
from
connected.
Shantiniketan. Connected.
But a wonderful singer, no?
Yes.
Singer.
And she
Sadhika.
composed.
Yeah,
She
actually, I
composed
believe
bunches.
when one of the dance dramas of
Tagore
Tagore
was
was there. I think which one I don't remember. She told us that one particular character was fitted into that drama, keeping Sahana in mind.
Oh, I see.
And I remember when our music teacher from our school had accompanied in one of our
Trips
here to the ashram. She was here and we took her to Sahanadi. And she said, "You sing?" She said, "Yes." "You sing Rabindra Sangeet?" She said, "Yes." And she said that don't, be careful of the notations. See that, what? She said, it should be kept to the original, okay? See that they are
that's
not lost.
Very interesting.
They are not lost. And she came back with streaming eyes. She said, yes, it is getting lost. The the old notations. They're trying to change a little to modify a little
to suit to the modern taste.
the modern taste.
So it was very true, and she could get that vibration that things are changing.
But
Tagore's
she was sitting
songs.
in that small room, but she could feel what's happening outside.
Outside, yes.
So that was Sahanadi.
Do you have any special memories of any other ashramites that you have?
Dyuman Bhai was very, very close to my father. Very
Oh.
close, Dyuman Bhai.
He used to write letters to my
Yes,
father. There used to be exchanges letters.
Exchanging
True.
letters regarding, my father used to be connected with, as I said, Bhavan and all that. So at times there used to be, questions that were being asked. So
Yeah.
Dyuman Bhai was one who would clarify. Even Nirodha used to clarify.
Questions, ma'am?
Especially during the Aurobindo phase.
Oh,
The
I see.
Aurobindo phase, that was a bit of turmoil, and whether at all the city of dawn will come up or not, whether it's just an utopia, those questions would be asked to him, no?
Your father would ask.
No,
People
No.
outside, because
People outside would ask.
him.
because
So,
my father was.
so he used to get some strong answers from Nirodha,
Yeah.
and Nirodha would always say that no, it is in the master's plan, mother's plan. It will happen and it will take shape. So that's it. So that's how things. Always there used to be those, Aurobindo that we remember the foundation of Aurobindo too.
Yes, both of us were there.
Both of
You were
us were
both
there.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
1968.
Yeah,
Yes.
Remember that.
And
68.
tell me about your visits to the chamber. Matrimonial chamber.
Yes, it was. I felt as if when the first time I went, I felt as if, well, this is how the heavens must be, up and up and up and up. And
That
up.
was the feeling, as if we are
Up and
up in the clouds,
Clouds.
moving up in the
Up and-
clouds.
Something
Because
has been
such a
lifting us.
universal force,
Ah,
something,
yes.
as if I was floating somewhere, not like a kind of, I don't know, fairyland.
And then feeling the force
Then,
there.
then that solid
So
force
concrete.
there, concrete there inside. No motion, concrete.
Meditation there is concrete. Simply concrete.
But always this feeling that we are moving up to the heavens.
That's it.
Some kind of a mother's painting. So beautiful.
Yes, Preeti Dee's painting.
Preeti Dee's painting.
Ah.
Preeti Ghosh's painting.
Yes, yes.
Moving up, up. So beautiful.
And
And I very often I ask, this is the universe. The golden globe, this is the universe. This is the solid universe. And this is where, what to say? It's something which really has taken shape and will show the rest of the world. There are many other domes coming up, like Aurobindo. I wonder whether you've seen them in photographs and pictures. Many architectural patterns are coming very much like that shape.
Pyramids.
Yes, you must have seen the ideas of pyramids and the light streaming through one opening. All such ideas are coming up elsewhere. So that means, back of the mind, Aurobindo is there. Whoever is making it, it's there. So what the Mother and Sri Aurobindo have shown to the world is really magnifying all over, everybody. Whether they accept it or not, it's there. It's concretely there. So if we take it in the subtle physical level, just subtle. If we can feel it, I'm an ordinary person talking here. If we can feel it, it is happening. And it's here to stay forever, to show. I remember one of my aunts came, she knew nothing of the ashram and nothing of Aurobindo, but she only cried. She was so moved. She said the guide was telling me something and she couldn't explain properly, But she was crying. She said, yes, now I know why your father would bring you here only, nowhere else. That's what, I think 3-4 years back. For the first time she came to Pondicherry, to the ashram, to Aurobindo. She comes back and she tells me, now I know why your father would bring you here and nowhere else.
In closing, perhaps you could both say something about the samadhi and the service tree.
Service tree. Actually, we used to play around the service tree and pick the dry leaves from there, because Jugalda's mother used to be engaged in picking up the dry leaves, and she would engage me too. So I wouldn't talk, so everything in gestures and pick up. So I would ask whether this is dry or not. So that's how I knew which is dry and which is fresh. And put them and dance around the place. So for me, the samadhi was, now it is concrete, now it is, but as a child it was mother upstairs, the Lord here, and I am free, I'm a free bird here moving around. I still remember my father would sit for meditation for hours, and I used to play around, sometimes go and touch my forehead there, and then come away, sit, do all sorts of things. And after some time I used to take those pebbles, are there, those pillars and the pebbles. I used to put some pebbles into my father's pocket, because it has to be carried home. It has
And
to be
both
carried
his
home.
pockets would be
And when
full.
he used to get up, he used to find it so
So
heavy.
heavy, he
He
couldn't
said,
get
what's
up.
wrong? And a lot of noise coming from where? So I have filled his pockets with all those pebbles,
Wonderful
and it used to
story.
go back home, and it was a treasure. It was a treasure. So samadhi then and samadhi now, I can't say, it is so concrete.
Yes,
And
those days
it was a
were-
little higher, I
Ye-
think.
No, it was a little lower.
Lower or something.
Lower,
fine,
greyish.
Yes.
Greyish.
Greyish, yeah. Lower.
Greyish. And
Yeah,
there,
greyish.
I don't think there were tulsi there.
No.
Tulsis there. No.
And people they used to sell flowers outside, and they used to just put those flowers in the samadhi. Then mother stopped it because it was getting.
Actually, they would, this Bishwanidhi, who early morning, she used to give us flowers and incense sticks in the morning itself. So we used to go and place them according to our own free will. There was no kind of restriction at all, because people were few in number,
Yes.
and only real devotees would come.
Yes.
Real devotees who
Knew
knew.
and read Sri
Sri
Aurobindo and
Aurobindo
the
and
mother.
the mother.
They were the ones.
There were very few outsiders coming, the local Tamils would come, but not like now. Now everybody's
Now absorbing
Yes,
it
yes.
very well.
So we used to do our pranam quite peacefully, sit on the steps or in the
Those
veranda,
same
same
old
old steps, the same veranda.
And
We used to
Nirodha,
sit.
as I said, would come out sometimes and
Yes,
see
inspect
those afternoon.
Inspect.
Yes,
Inspect the
Say,
light.
and wouldn't say anything. Would just make a little gesture and say like that. That means the flower not here, there, here, there.
I see.
Or if
And-
anything is dry, any flower is dry, just remove it, get rid of it.
Used to just look
Yes,
at it
it's very-
intensely. I
Very
remember his
intense. This
look
look, my God.
at the thing, and then go away. Just for a few seconds, and then he would sit outside his room, just like that.
We used to visit him also.
Yes.
Did
visit
you?
him. But
Just like he was not very communicative.
communicative,
He
but
used to be very.
he would look at us intensely, and just ask a few things as to, like, what are you studying? What's your subject? Okay. Very few words. Even Nolinida, very few words.
Yes,
Very
yes,
few words.
yes.
Very loud and clear. And we still remember Nolinida with his wooden chappals,
Oh,
with
yes.
his own clothes to be washed, walking down from his room to the
At
bathroom.
soap in hand.
With soap in hand.
So washing soap in
Simply-
hand.
Simply walking up to the
Wooden
bathroom
shoes.
to wash his clothes.
Little up
The
here,
simple,
going
those simple,
really
it's
sadhak.
still very much in our minds.
Yes.
And Diaman Bhai in Glory.
Yes.
In Glory, yeah.
Gloria.
Gloria,
Yes,
sorry,
yes.
Gloria.
You went to Gloria?
Yes,
yeah,
many
yeah,
times.
many a times. And Diaman Bhai would be there going for inspection, and he used to be there. We used to see him. And what sincere
Gloria.
workers mother has had then.
Yes, yes.
Very sincere. He used to be there so often. Used to see him.
Well, this has been a very special blessing for us to have you both. Thank you so much for sharing. Did you bring anything else, or have we seen everything?
Yeah, these are the two books. These are the mother's cards.
Yes.
And
What
that's
was
it.
this?
That
Oh,
was
that
that,
That was-
Ma
yes, yes.
written.
Ma written.
Yes.
Anything else? We have all the cards. I think we've shown all the cards. We have a photograph of my father. That's
Oh,
it.
that would be very nice.
It's a
to
big
see.
one though. Mothers we couldn't get. We were looking for the mother's
Oh.
photograph.
We'll get it. We'll get
Here,
it.
this is our father in 50s, I think. He must be,
No, this is,
he was 60s. No,
in
age.
his, in his 60s.
In his
Okay.
60s, after his retirement.
Thank you so much for showing us. Yes. You were going to tell us about Sri Aurobindo statue?
Yes. In 1978 was the mother's centenary year. So he formed the centenary committee, Howrah, where he was. And the heart of the town, he said the master's statue has to be kind of installed. And he worked day and night for it. And one of our sculptors, famous sculptor, Kartik Chandra Pal, the same sculptor who made Sri Aurobindo's statue in Sri Aurobindo Bhavan, Calcutta.
Oh, mhm.
The same sculptor made this one, bust. Because my father came to know him during 1972, Sri Aurobindo's centenary year. So he contacted, he said, why not, I will do it. Then he went to Krishnanagar. You know, Krishnanagar is famous for ISKCON. It's Krishna consciousness, that center there. So there is one colony of only artists and sculptors. It's famous, world famous. The Pals, they are all Pal,
Ah,
P-A-L, Pal. So they are famous sculptors and idol makers. They are world renowned. So Kartik Chandra Pal, is it Kartik Chandra Pal? He sculpted this Sri Aurobindo's life-size bust, huge life-size bust, which was installed.
And it was inaugurated by the President of India,
No, then he was the vice president.
or Vice President.
Narayanan, I think he was. K.R.
Venkataraman.
Venkataraman, yes, right.
When
Venkataraman was there. Then, just immediately next year, he became the president of India. He was vice president. After inauguration of that statue, he became the president of India.
So he
Venkataraman.
inaugurated the Vice President of India.
He said, I won't have small people coming to my master's inauguration. I want the best. And I still remember on 15th August, they would garland his statue, and it used to be very high. So since it was in the center of the town, the mayor will come and all the big shots will come to garland his statue, and they found it very difficult to climb garland.
So he used to say, my
So,
master is my master.
My
You
master,
have to
you have to climb
go
up.
up.
You have to go up to.
You have to climb.
He could say anything, and everything would be accepted, whatever he said.
I see.
So this justice was there, Shushant Chatterjee. And he was climbing up. The other said, "Oh, it's too high. Satya Brahma, it's too high." Then Sushanta Chatterjee, the justice, he was climbing up. He said, you have to look up to him to garland his. Yeah. So
That's
this we wanted to tell you.
Yes.
It was
Thank you
very,
so
very
much.
special.
Yes,
He
yes.
was so special. He said the whole world should see him. And then anybody who goes by will have to look up to see him. By car, by whichever vehicle one passes.
Thank you so much.